time, I'm going to turn things over to our fantastic narrator for this cruise. His name is Ron, and he's going to speak to you right up here on the third deck, right behind the powerhouse. Take it away, Ron.
Thank you very much, Captain Eric, and welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ron. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be your tour guide today for your 1-hour sightseeing cruise. I want to thank you for spending part of your day with us here at the Gateway Clipper Fleet. Having just departed the Station Square docks, the home of the Gateway Clipper Fleet since 1982, over to the right-hand side of the boat we get a grand view of the Station Square complex. Of course, today Station Square is much more well known for its fine shops and restaurants, but at one time this is a thriving railroad station. Coming into view now is the original train station itself, which was built back in 1897. At the top of the old station, we can see the historic billboard that reads P&L-E-R-R, which stands for Pittsburgh and Lake Erie Railroad. Today, the old railroad station houses the Monongahela River Bridge. That old train trestle bridge was sold to the city in 1982. Today, it's used as part of our light rail system, known as the T. Just beyond the Monongahela River Bridge is the Liberty Bridge, which was completed in 1928. Today, the Liberty Bridge carries 100,000 cars a day across its span, although in many cases not with the greatest degree of expediency, as the Liberty Bridge is under perpetual construction and ongoing gridlock. As we complete our turn and start to make our way toward the point along the Monongahela River, I do encourage you to keep your view to the right-hand side of the boat to enjoy our beautiful downtown city skyline. And our first historic skyscraper coming up, which looks like a mini Empire State Building with that 3-tiered construction. It also has the Huntington logo at the top of it. That's the Grant Building, which was completed in 1929. To this day, the Grant Building is a registered lighthouse. At the top of the Grant Building is a beacon that blinks Pittsburgh in Morse code at night. Just beyond the Grant Building is a much more contemporary looking skyscraper. That series of octagonal shaped buildings all kind of smushed together. That's one Orchard Center. The developer city in the world. 446 bridges in the Pittsburgh metro area. So if you're considering a more romantic city like Venice, Italy is having the most bridges, the Shuttle rank amateur with a measly 409 bridges. One such bridge that we are currently approaching is the Fort Pitt Bridge, which was completed in 1959. The Fort Pitt Bridge is the world's first computer-blasted bowstring arch bridge, the world's first double-decker bowstring arch bridge. Today, the Fort Pitt Bridge carries 150,000 cars a day across its span. 4 lanes of traffic, upper level and lower level, into and out of the city. But if you decide to take the Fort Pitt Bridge, you better be a well-experienced driver or have nerves of steel, because navigating those 4 lanes of traffic, upper level and lower level, can prove to be a big challenge. Even earned the Fort Pitt Bridge its very own social media meme. It goes like this. The right lanes, exit left. The left lanes, exit right. Here's 300 feet. There they have it. When we go to the bridge over to the right-hand side, we have a great view of the Fort Pitt Museum, an outstanding resource for your history buffs. All of the artifacts and information you could ever want about the original Fort Pitt and its predecessor, Fort Duquesne. About 30 yards beyond the museum, you can see that smaller structure next to the American flag, which is the Fort Pitt Blockhouse. Western PA's oldest continually standing structure, built back in 1764. Recent one too, but of course we know it another day as Pittsburgh. This time, ladies and gentlemen, we're approaching a very intriguing spot on our journey, the confluence of the 3 rivers. This is where the Monongahela River that we are currently sailing on comes together with the Allegheny River on the other side of the point to form the Ohio River. Because of these 3 rivers, Pittsburgh is accessible via waterway from anywhere on planet Earth. From the point, you sail the Ohio River 981 miles to Cairo, Illinois, where it enters the mighty Mississippi. Take the Mississippi for another 1,000 miles, where it comes to the Gulf of Mexico and New Orleans. From there, pick your ocean. You can sail underneath Florida to the Atlantic through the Panama Canal to the Pacific. Speaking of the Panama Canal, more freight flows from Pittsburgh via the Panama Canal. Some weather. The Carnegie Science Center has been referred to as an amusement park for the mind, with over 250 different interactive exhibits inside the Carnegie Science Center. Of those 250 different interactive exhibits inside the Carnegie Science Center, its most intriguing exhibit is floating outside in the Ohio River right next to us, a World War II era submarine called USS Raikkonen. The USS Raikkonen was commissioned in April of 1945. So it was built toward the end of World War II and never did see any battle action, but it did serve the Navy for several decades as a training vessel. There have even been sailors who served the USS Raikkonen that have taken tours just like this one on the Gateway River Fleet who insist that they hold the record for the longest undersea dive. But in keeping with Pittsburgh's renaissance as a thriving cultural community, the Rivers Casino features a number of indoor and one outdoor concert venue located right along the riverbank. During the summertime, Gateway Pittsburgh guests are often treated any number of different concerts we sail by. As we make our turn on the Ohio River, the view to the right-hand side of the boat is not nearly as dramatic as the downtown city skyline. Still, there are many symbols of Pittsburgh's industrious and illustrious past. You can't miss the West End Bridge, built out of good old Pittsburgh steel in 1932. But take a look just beyond the bridge. About halfway up the mountainside, you can see a luxury private home built into the side of the mountain. This is symbolic of a trend that began way back in the early to mid 1800s. In those days, the city had become flooded by tens of thousands of immigrants, all looking for work in our many mills, factories, and foundries. In order to deal with the population explosion, the city began to offer free land, having been stripped of all its precious coal after being discovered to have the richest coal seam in the Appalachian Basin. At the height of Pittsburgh's industrial age, if you had a view of the city from Mount Washington, it was generally obscured by haze and smog spewing from the smokestacks of the many factories that dotted the rivers. Cleanliness is next to godliness, then what's dirtiness next to? Pittsburgh? But as you look around today, you can see that Pittsburgh has seriously cleaned up its act. The skies are clear, and there are fish in the rivers again, 350 different species. So thriving is today's river life, and Pittsburgh is recently home to the Bass Masters Classic Fishing Tournament. As we slowly make our way back toward the Gateway River docks along the Monongahela River, over to the right-hand side, we're going to get a great view of the second of our two historic inclines. This is the Duquesne Incline, first debuted to the public on May 20th of 1877. When it first opened, the Duquesne Incline did a pretty healthy business. The 5-cent toll seemed reasonable, but in 1909, the city gave Mount Washington commuters and all. The owners of the incline are becoming a bit frantic. They're afraid they're going to lose their business until they hatched a plan. True story, they hired teenagers to dress as ghosts and frighten people trying to use the Indian Trail steps. When Fred was first developing his TV show, it was not his plan to have a trolley take you off to the land of make-believe. He wanted it to be an incline. But the TV producers managed to convince him that only people from Pittsburgh would be able to identify as an incline. So reluctantly, he agreed to make it a trolley. But that trolley's distinctive red and gold color scheme is designed to directly mirror that of the brand new fountain shot to life 150 feet straight into the air, where a gust of wind carried it directly over the stage where corporate detectives were standing, and everybody got doused. You can still enjoy that video on YouTube. I highly recommend it. And for one time, we can claim our politicians got soaked and not the taxpayers.